Good morning. Where am I looking today? Find my camera lens. There it is. Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to this week's episode of Monday Motivation with the very strange title, Promises, Promises. So why is this Monday Motivation even being streamed to you? Why has it got such a strange title? So first of all, for those of you that have been following these Monday Motivations right here on this page every week, last week was a bank holiday Monday, so if you haven't seen it yet, you actually got a recording that I did live while I was in Las Vegas last October. So if you get some time today, maybe make the time, have a tea or coffee or water or fruit juice or whatever your drink of choice is, and just scroll down and have a look at last week's Monday Motivation, because it's a good one. I'm actually there in the flesh, sharing light bulb moments as they happen. And that's all well and good for me, you may say. But by sharing those light bulb moments, I hope to cause in you and anyone listening a ripple effect so that you can motivate your own lives in the way that feels exactly like you. Not like me, not like the person that you follow online or on Instagram or Twitter or even in real life, just you. Okay, so if you're watching this, do comment in the box below. Do ask any questions while I'm live here in the box below, and do interact with me. I know this looks a bit like TV, like you're watching me, but I do like to hear from you too. So Alan is hot off the blocks and he says, good morning. So he actually says morning. I don't know, I hope you're having a good morning so far, Alan. So morning to you, Alan. Thank you for saying good morning. Ivona's on and she says, morning all, thank you for saying hello. By the way, whether this is your first time watching live on the replay, whether you're lurking in the background and you'd rather not say anything because you just want to see how things go here, that's fine too. But what I would ask you to do is to share this on your timeline with other people. Now, I know that a large percentage of my audience are small business owners, entrepreneurial types, authors and consultants. However, I also know from the work that I do, and I work with executives who are employees, if you like, and well, they are employees, and they run teams either nationally, internationally. I work with sales teams. I work with people who are going to work, and right now there will be a handful of people that are trudging their way to work, getting up and getting ready for work, who don't want to be there. So this motivation is also for them. And because it is the 4th of June, in mirror writing there, this motivation won't only motivate your Monday, your morning and your week, but for a small percentage of people watching this, including you, this could also be the motivation for your month. So promises, promises. Why am I talking about promises, promises? Good morning, Faye. Thank you for saying good morning. So I was reading this book and I should have turned my camera around. So this is a book called U Squared. U Squared is just for me a really powerful book. It says on the front, a high velocity formula for multiplying your personal effectiveness in quantum leaps. It's a book by Price Pritchett. And for those of you that say, I don't have time to read books, it's like a pamphlet. Really easy to read through. Morning, Lisa. Thanks for jumping on and saying hi. Really easy to read through and absorb, I would say. So even though it's only kind of a few pages as opposed to hundreds of pages, really great to read and absorb the lesson. And recently I was reading or rereading parts of this book, and there was one that really jumped out at me. Surprisingly, it was at the beginning, because I've read this book back to front, front to back, just opened it up and got whichever bit of information it had. But this one, on this page, it said, the promise, are you ready for this? It actually says that. And then it says, you don't have to be content with improving things incrementally or gradually. It goes on to say a lot more about what you're capable of right now in this moment. And when I read these books, whilst I take on the message for myself, I also appreciate that the person reading this, I hope, would take on the message for them. And it made me really think about the promises, like promises we make to ourselves, promises we make to other people, which don't always appear as promises. So What am I talking about, and why is this a motivation for you, and why would it even motivate you for a Monday, for a morning, for a week, or for the month of June? Well, after reading that, it became no coincidence to me when I was speaking to some of my clients, doing my private client calls, when I'm interacting with peers and with people that do something similar to me, whether it was here on Facebook or over on LinkedIn, or I've got a number of people that I actually meet up and physically see face to face, eyeball to eyeball, and there was a theme that kept coming up. And I identified it to be a promise. And here was the theme. It went something like, I really want to do ABC. Now, these ABCs had everything to do with people's plans that they'd put in their life. They had everything to do with almost like the desires, things that they found themselves saying, but what I really want to do is this. Things that they found themselves wanting to do in their business. Some people want to start up their business. Some people want to shore up their business so that it's on solid foundations. Some people want to be able to get themselves out there to more people in their business. And some of you want to just be able to enhance your career. I work frequently, not only with business owners, but with people who work within organisations, often quite large organisations, and they want to have career progression. They want to rise through the ranks, or they want to take on maybe a new leadership role. And the similarities about the promise are the same. Hey, it's Julia BT, she says. Morning all. Morning, Julia. Thank you so much for jumping on. So the promise that I realise, and as all Monday motivations, these don't only stem from things that clients will be talking to me about, obviously in confidence, or that I hear out and about, but they stem from my own path and my own journey. So being completely candid and transparent, because it doesn't escape you, even if you're trained as a coach. In fact, I find that people who are coaching are more likely to put out their stuff out there and give to everyone else, and then drink from the cup last. And here's something I realised. There was something in my life that for the last, I'm trying to think how many years, for the last 3 years I wanted to do, last 2.5 years, 2 years, I really wanted to do. And here's how I realised that it was a promise, and the importance of promises when we are motivating ourselves. Something I dearly wanted to do. I'd had a ton of fun doing it. I'd learnt loads. I'd grown loads as a person. I grew into somebody that I almost didn't think was possible. And, it affected my work, my life. In my work, it helped me to get my message out really far and wide. And when I even think about some of the things that I've been able to achieve, even in the last few months, it is definitely down to the promises that I made to myself and kept for myself. So imagine the frustration, and if you're watching this, think of something that you've wanted to do, something that you wanted to achieve, something that you really want to do in the world. It's almost like you can't not do it. Just think for a moment, and if you've got that, give me a thumbs up or a love heart. Let's see a bit of red across the screen this morning. Give me a thumbs up and a love heart once you've got it. And for some of you, you would have got something bounce in your head, and you might have even said, no, not that. That's too big, or no, I need to go for something more realistic. And now I'm not asking you to share it on here, although if you do want to share it, you're more than welcome to put it in the comments, remembering that it's a public space and that anyone watching this live or on the replay will see it. So I see the love hearts and the thumbs up. So you've got something that you know that you deeply desire, really want to do. And for my entrepreneurial people, and also my people that work in corporates who are entrepreneurial minded, there will be a gazillion things that you're thinking of that you would like to do, not just one. And here's the thing. Quite often we make promises to ourselves that sound like, I want to meet the person of my dreams, that sound like, this year is going to be the year that I absolutely crack this thing. Or it might sound like, I'm going to make sure that this year or this month or this week is the week that I start my exercise and keep going. Or it might be something to do with your career. I often hear people say, Jenny, I really know that I need to be more visible, and I'm ready, and this time round, I'm going to be out there and more visible. And, you know, for those of you that are watching this and might be saying, you know what, I couldn't think of anything, that might have sparked off a little something in your brain. So we sometimes will have these goals, these dreams, these desires, these objectives, these plans, these thoughts, these feelings of things that we want to get out there in the world. That is a promise that we make to ourselves. You know, I'm going to be an international speaker is a promise we make to ourselves. And here's what I'm seeing. What I'm seeing are people that are making these promises to themselves and very quickly, like almost sucking them back in. You know, I've had a number of telephone calls with people, even over the last 3 weeks, even over, you know, the month of May, where they have said, you know, I really need to get myself out there and put my work in front of other people. Now, I am a visibility specialist. That's exactly what I do, which is why we're having the telephone call. But if somebody was saying to me, you know, Jenny, I need you to teach me how to cut hair, it's not my area of expertise. So I need to say, well, I can't help you with that. But if that's your dream, that's your vision, that's your promise, that's your desire, or that's even the promise that you've made yourself, then I want to point you in the right direction to somebody that could help. And if not, I've got a big enough audience, both online and online, to be able to say who can help this person with this specific thing. But very quickly, just as quickly as I was speaking to people and they were, you know, and the same words are coming out of their mouth, I really need to raise my profile, I want to get my work out in front of more people, the exact thing that I can help them with, very quickly they would say, but, and start to undo the promise that they've made to themselves. But, you know, I've got a fear of putting myself out there, or, but I know that I need a big mailing list to do it, or I know that I need a bigger audience, or I know that like my family don't really know or understand what I do and I'm going to do it later, or I'm working in a job and I'm starting a business and I want to grow it and leave the job, but it's really busy at work so I can't. Or, you know, there's networking groups or there's people that I can go out there and meet with, but it means that I'm going to have to get a babysitter, or it means that I need to travel to a different town or a different city. And very quickly, people start undoing the promise that they made to themselves. And one thing that I realise, again from my own experiences and those that I see of clients, is the frustration that that brings is immense. The frustration that that brings is almost like kryptonite to Superman. It's enough to take you down at the knees. It's enough to pause you, slow you down, and in a lot of cases stop you. So, as per my case, a year later, 2 years later, I'm still singing the same frustrating song of, I want to do this thing. And as I realised this, as I heard this from various different people, I realised that here's what you need to do. Here's how to enhance the promise that you make to yourself rather than break the promise. And here's why this is so frustrating. When you make a promise to yourself and then you break it, that's almost like the root cause of the frustration. You might think that, oh, you need to go out and do this thing. You might think that, oh, well, I need to just pull on my big girl pants or my big boy pants and get out there. Or I just need to have some courage. Or you know what? If I watch a few more YouTube videos and join a few webinars, you know, because I'm not, maybe I don't have the income that I would like to. So at this moment in time, because I don't have the income, I'm not going to invest any income. Therefore, perpetuating that promise to someone else. So if you've ever heard yourself say, yeah, but I don't really earn the money yet, or I don't have the money together to be able to invest in myself to do this, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, because it's likely that your clients are doing exactly the same thing. It's likely that people aren't buying your company's product or service because they are saying exactly the same thing that you're saying when it comes to taking your next exponential leap, your next quantum leap, and you are breaking the promise to yourself. Now, for those of you that said, oh no, but I didn't promise it to myself, there are things in which you promise all the time to yourself, but probably haven't ever articulated it or seen it as a promise. The things that you do go ahead and do, you know, if you're feeling hungry, you promise to feed yourself. And for some of us, we just think, well, it's breakfast time, I'm going to eat, it's lunchtime, I'm going to eat, it's dinner, I'm going to eat. And that's great because you're going in that flow. Some of you will say, I'm not going to eat until I'm absolutely starving. How many of you, like me, have had the occasional time where you've got up, you've intended to have breakfast, you've got into your working day, you've been busy on a project at work maybe, and before you know it, lunchtime's come and you're like, not only am I really hungry, but I need to eat. Now that is almost like an analogy for how we can destruct our own life, keep ourselves away from our plans, our dreams, our goals. Sometimes we might feel hungry, but think, oh, well, I can wait. And if you are doing that in your life, people are likely showing up for you in that way. You know, it could be that the workshops aren't going quite as well as you wanted them to, or you're getting a handful of people and you're saying, you know what, I'm quite happy with, that handful of people. But what you really envisaged in your brain was hundreds of people. It could be that you want to invest in yourself and you find yourself on a phone call saying, you know what, I'd really love to, but I don't have the money right now. Well, I had to take a dose of my own medicine in just that area. There are quantum leaps that I want to make within my business that I know will have a ripple effect on the people who are already my clients, the people who are looking to become clients, my friends, my family, my peers, and the people around me. And in order for me to show up in the world and be the best that I can be, I need to take the best decisions for myself, which means that I need to keep the promises to myself. Because here's what happens when we get into the habit of making promises to ourselves and also get into the habit of breaking those promises. Not only does it affect our confidence, our esteem, and our ability to go out and spread our ripples far and wide and make the difference that we feel like it's in our gut we can't not make. What it does is it chips away at that confidence and tells us that we're not worth it. It tells us, it's us telling ourselves that, everybody else must go first. It's us telling ourselves that things have to be really difficult. And there is nothing that I ever invite somebody to do that I don't do myself. And in fact, any time that I feel that, it feels out of alignment, out of integrity, and I have to stop. So go back to that thing, that one thing that you first thought of. And if you had lots of other things, do write them down. But go back to that thing that you thought of where you've made a promise to yourself and you've wanted to get out there. If anyone is watching and they are willing to share this, again, whether you're watching me now, thank you for watching and thank you for sharing this as well, or you're watching this on the replay, if there is something that is burning for you, by all means share it on here, or if you go to the top of the page, you'll actually see that you can join the Visibility Vibes Tribe Facebook group. And today is all about motivation. Monday is all about motivating yourself first and foremost and others. So do continue the conversation in the group. Just say, as per Jenny's Facebook Live, and you can share a link to this live so people know what you're speaking about if you are allowed to in that group or in any other group too. You do share it with other people, because sometimes we get stuck in a place, or we think we get stuck on a specific thing when actually it's something else. So for many people that have had conversations with me and have wanted to progress and move further forward, they've made the promise to themselves that they're going to do it and then taken themselves out of the game. Now, with one particular thing that I did in my life, I did that for over 2.5 years. And every single step of the way it felt frustrating, because I told myself, this is a big investment. If I do this, I can't do this other thing. And all of that is actually not true, because, a few days ago, I just made the decision, I'm bored of the sound of my own voice of I want to, I will get round to doing this. I'm going to get back in doing this. And I just decided that I was going to do it. I made the decision and then I chose to do it. And what is quite miraculous about that is when I made that choice and that decision to do it, I thought I would be freaking out. It's a big investment. It means that this is going to happen or that's going to happen. And what if this doesn't work out? And actually, now I've made the decision and I've jumped in and gone for it, things are just starting to fall very nicely in my lap. It's almost like it's taken the wool from my eyes, and I can see the opportunities that are coming to me. And I know this is true for other people. You know, there was a client that I've been working with, and just like it last month now, thinking about all the things that they wanted to do and all the reasons why they couldn't do it. And it was almost like brushing away the cobwebs. Once we brushed away the cobwebs of the reasons they thought that they couldn't do something, or the way they thought it had to happen, other words known as control, then the path started to open up for them, to the point where they got exactly what they wanted and what they needed. And I don't think that I did anything to them that was miraculous. Yes, there was a bit of the catalyst of the coach in there, but what actually happens is when you wipe all the debris away, you can see more clearly. You can see the opportunities that you can take. You can see your next steps, and you can take them almost in flow and in alignment. And this makes it so much easier. So I'm wondering what you're motivated to do, not only for this morning, this Monday and this week, but as we're in a new month of June, what are you motivated to do? Now, there are a couple of different ways in which you can take forward your motivation. So a lovely lady called Takumbo has a conference coming up on the 23rd of June called Women Elevating Women. And Women Elevating Women does exactly what it says on the tin. Whether you're, whether you are in business or even not, and you just want to find a community of people like you, go and have a look. Either go to the Visibility Vibes Tribe, and you'll see the event in there that she's created. But why not pull together and don't do this journey alone? There's some sort of magic that happens when we decide to be brave, to share like what we want to do in the world, and to stand together, whether it's women together, whether it's men and women together, because I work with both. So that's one way in which you might keep the promise to yourself to be better, do more, achieve the things that you want to do. And for those of you that are in the more of the executive arena, I'm actually going to be speaking on my birthday and on Alan's birthday, the 26th of June. Nice breakfast meeting in London. If you want to find out more about that, then just hit the message button at the top and say, tell me more about that. And this is going to be more of an intimate setting, so it's not going to be hundreds and hundreds of people. There's going to be a few executives. There are executives that are like sales execs that manage teams across Europe. There are marketing directors in that group, and there are people that are responsible for a lot of people in travel, and they're all women. They're all women doing absolutely amazing things in the world. I'd love you to join me on that if you can. And another way in which you can get started personally for you, this is coming to an end. So I offer something called the Bite Size Program. It's normally a 6-week program where you get to work personally one-to-one with me. And I did a May special, and so many people have been like trying to book calls just to find out whether it's really suitable for them. That is still available to you, but I'm actually offering the special. Rather than it being 6 weeks, it's 12 weeks. And rather than it being a group program, you get to work personally one-to-one with me. And I've done it at a really great price. You know, you don't have to go and, email my assistant or anything else like that. So I've been able just to pull the price back so that it's me you're hearing from. You'll be held accountable, and you will be taught how to hold yourself accountable. You'll be signposting where you need to go next and what you need to do next, and I will help steer and lead that so that you're not trying to do it all by yourself. People come to me and say, Jenny, I need to make more sales. Well, I teach visibility that sells, but if you want to make more sales, there'll be things that need to be done under the surface, and that's what I help with. So if that's part of the promise you've made to yourself, just go to the box at the top, the message box, and click on that and write the word bite size, and I will send you those details. 2 more spaces left, because that's as many as I can take to go through and help people individually. There are 2 more spaces left, and you'll be pleased to know that the way I've set it up is that you make payments on a monthly basis. So it helps you to manage your cash flow for you business owners, and for those of you that are working within a business, it helps you to manage your pay packet as it comes in. So thank you so much for watching. Think really, I'll say think long and hard, but I kind of really want you to feel, like embody and feel what your next promise is. If you've got a few or a number of promises, which I know a lot of my high performing women do, Write them all down, but there'll be one that will make the biggest difference if you were to move that forward now. Identify what that is, share in the Visibility Vibes Tribe Facebook group, and let me know how you get on with that throughout the week. I'll be back on Wednesday. If you share openly in that group, I'll be back on Wednesday to find out how you're going with that. And remember, it's a Monday morning. Although you might have sprung out of bed full of the joys of spring, there'll be other people that are just like dreading going to work, dreading going to their day. Maybe things aren't working out in the way that they are. Please share this with them, and you can share it as a private message too. Thank you so much for watching this. Lots of love to you, and the next time I'll be here on this page officially will be Thursday, but there might be some little surprises in between. Lots of love to you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye for now.